Right, here is your swim analysis video. Hi Andy. What we're going to do is we have a look at your swimming right down in slow motion. You do see some really interesting things on this, and I think you will find it quite interesting in terms of not just your timing, but particularly like on the breathing and on your catch under the water. So if we make a start, so the first view we get is side view. So nice push off, good body position. So if you start every length with a decent push off, that will help your body position. Nice high elbow there, recovery, and you see there the fingertips are leading the elbow, which is good. See the other arm again. What we see on this one is a much flatter entry, so you're basically entering with your elbow dropped, so you're entering more or less with your fingertips and your elbow at the same time. So one way to work on that is to improve the rotation, which obviously we didn't have time to do today, but that's something we would look at a bit further down the line. And we're looking at a lot of the conversation we had today is about spearing down into that catch point, and as you can see here, what you're doing is entering very flat, so you've dropped your elbow before we've sort of even started the stroke. So again, that nice high elbow recovery, and you see the angle here is much better. So your right arm, the angle is much better, and you do get some flattening, so I would still say you're going in too shallow and too flat, but you can see that the elbow's not dropping in the same way as here. The elbow's dropped and then they kind of enter. In fact, actually here, the elbow is entering before the hand. Okay, so keep swimming through. Again, nice entry. Again, that flat entry. And then we're going to go under the water a little bit. Okay, so we can see here the bubbles. The bubbles around your arm mean that you're not quite getting as much catch as you could. So you're better on your right than on your left. Now, one of the things, if we look here, and we'll see this is a bit of a theme as we go on, talk about that front quadrant swimming. So you totally, when you take your breath, you totally lose the front arm. And I've got some better shots of it that I'll share with you. But really, your arm is nearly all the way back and it's only now just entered. So there's nothing in that front quadrant keeping you stable when you breathe. And you'll see when we do some different angles that does affect your legs. So again, you push down, you really push down on that arm, and then you see you can just make it out there if we just go back one little frame. You can see that the right leg, so if we go through, so we'll push down, and then I want you just to watch what the right leg does as you push down, and that really flicks out, so you're not getting that even kick. You have to compensate for the fact that you've got nothing in the front quadrant by the leg kicking out at the back. And interestingly, I know that you had sort of amended your stroke for the front quadrant. On the breathing, you're still dropping the arm even when you're looking at the front quadrant swimming. So you see that again, that leg flips out every time you take in a breath. So if we go just briefly back the other way, so again you can see nice body position, not too bad in terms of your ankle flexibility. I think everybody can work on that, but again you see, so you're leaning on that arm, there's nothing in the front quadrant until that point, but you don't get quite as much kick out. But I think we can always work on your ankle flexibility. So again, you see those bubbles coming off the hand. The left hand generates quite a few more bubbles all the way up down the arm, which means that you're not quite getting the catch, you slip in the water a bit. So I think that the work that we do on catch and sculling is quite important. Okay, so if we just have a little look from side view, again you see that sort of elbow first entry, that flat, so your arm's completely extended when it enters the water. So the only way that you can go then is just by pressing down. So you can see that elbow makes a splash as it goes in at the same time as the hand. So they're all just little things that we can just sort of work on. So now let's have a look at the overhead shot. It took a little while to get going. Hang on. Okay, let's see where we are. Okay, get you swimming. Fill in with those goggles, you see. And let's have a look. I'm going to get some movement here. Okay, so you're pushing off. I really want you to watch the line of the body. So what we ideally want is that body to stay in that straight line, exactly how it is here. We want it to stay nice and straight throughout the swim. So you take your first breath, so breathe into the right, and that actual straight line has stayed relatively good then. Okay, that right arm fairly in line with the shoulder. Then you see here this left arm, you start to get this snaking. So instead of your arm being here, your arm's entering here. And what that does is it has a knock-on effect because you get that sort of snaking funny S shape, which really starts to mess with the nice line that you had initially of the stroke. Okay, as you breathe, you're compensating for that, dropping the arm, and then if we just go back, because it's quite interesting what happens here. If we go back, so arm swings over, so there's a crossover, and then the arm swings out to make you come back into that straight line, so you compensate for that crossover. So the arm swings quite far out, so you're back in that straight line, but then it affects the right arm, which seems to sort of cross over, and then at the last minute it goes in front of the shoulder. So nice extension there, back into that line. But then you see here your right arm is pulling a little bit over the center line again. So again we've got that kick from that scissor kick. There's also the fact that the arm is dropping, there's not a lot in the front quadrant, means that the back end starts to try and stabilize the stroke, and again you get that scissor. So as you breathe, the arm's coming out to re-stabilize yourself, and then that right arm is kind of trying to swing in, but then you're correcting it. Again, you've got that scissor kick here, and you're getting that ankle flex, and that's really because of the right arm is dropping away and dropping under the body, so you're lacking stability at the front end of the stroke. So see it happen again. It goes in, and then when you're not breathing, you manage to keep that nice body position a bit better, but then you cross over with that left arm, which again makes the legs kick out at the back. Okay, so if we have a little look at this from the front view. Okay, so if we can get you going. Okay, see that arm coming a little bit under the centre line, over the centre line. And you see here, you've not got anything in that front quadrant. Okay, so that is why you've got funny things going on with your legs, because there's nothing in the front quadrant area. You're just pushing down on that left arm. Push, 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 push. Straight arm, taking your breath. And the legs are kicking out. So that comes all the way down. Big straight arm. Right arm stabilises. And then you push down. You do get the catch, but not until about here. So that right arm gets the catch better, but left arm just push, 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 push. You're not really getting the catch till about there. So you're not getting the catch where you want to be getting it. So on this arm, you probably get the catch there. You can see that nice position. But this arm is just stretching down, straight arm, nearly rolling on your back. This is why you said you could touch the bottom of the pool, because you've got a straight arm. And then that right arm is sort of splashing in. It is really kind of over the centre line. And that's why you're getting this snaking. So that whole sort of swimming either side of the blue line, I would go like, let's go down a Y shape and let's go as wide as you dare. There is a little bit of a timing issue with your breathing as well, which I think if we remedy some of the other stuff, that might sort itself out. But I do think, I know you didn't feel like the bubble breathe drill did a lot for you, but I think the bubble breathe drill will bring your breathing timing back to where it should be. So if we have a little look, so got your catch there, so you're taking your breath and your hand is right in the water, you're taking a breath, and then your head's quite late to follow in the hand. So I would say you need to breathe a little bit earlier. So one of the ways I just talk about breathing is if you're breathing to your left side, you start the breath as your right arm is going over the top of the water. So you turn away from that right arm so that you're already breathing when the hand enters, and then you're putting your head back in the water as the arm starts the pull, and that gives you a lot more stability at the front end, because at the moment you're on your side and you've got no arm in front of you, so that's why the legs start to do funny things. So you see here, so you take your breath and then the arms pressing down, and then your head's still not back in, but your other arm has gone in. So if we have a little look at the other videos, so this one here is the one where we did, so the back end of this one here is your front quadrant swimming, and there is some difference if we just look at the overhead shot. So you don't lose the arm quite as much as you did previously, but I still think there's quite a lot of work that we can do. So push off. Okay, so that hand's still there. That right arm looks better. Left arm you can see is still crossing over. So we still want the left arm to be here, but the right arm is a lot better. Keeping that shape better, there's not as much snaking. Okay, but it does become a little bit of snaking, and then we need to look at when you breathe. Okay, so when you start to breathe, that's when the legs start kicking out. So your right arm knew you were going to breathe, so you start swinging out, and then as your left arm goes in, you are still losing the front arm, and obviously that was just the point where I changed the camera, but you're still losing that front arm when you breathe. So the breathing is really important. So I would say this bubble straight, bubble stretch is that you need to ensure that your ear is on your shoulder as you're taking your breath, whereas at the moment you're taking your breath and your arm is pointing towards the bottom of the pool. So there. So it's all sort of split second stuff, but you need to make sure that arm is is staying out, and it's keeping that lever and keeping that support at the front end, because at the moment as you breathe you've got your arm pointing to the bottom of the pool. So let's have another quick look at the other video, see if there's anything. I did another one, so let's see if there's anything in here that we can look at. Okay, so if we do the overhead shot on here, there's a bit of a drip of water on here, unfortunately. So if we come under the water and just see you coming back, and let's just have another look at where that arm is. So push off. So this arm is very straight, that left arm is very straight. The right arm gets a bit better catch, a bit better position, but we can definitely work on that. So what I will do is I'll send you some pictures of the sort of correct catch position that we're trying to aim for, and the drills that I definitely recommend for you are the skull drill that we did out of the front, and the issue is that you're still, because you're coming in flat and you're dropping the elbow on the left hand side and you're still going in quite shallow on the right, I want you to get a steeper angle on the entry, so your angle is basically sort of 45 degrees. If the water is kind of the straight edge and you want to spear in 45 degrees below that, that will take you to your catch point. And then you want to do your skull drill at that point, so you're deeper rather than shallower. And then you really get a feel for the water. I'm going to send you the skull combo drill because, again, that's a brilliant one to get that catch all the way through the stroke. So at the front end, in the middle, and then finishing off the stroke at the back end. And we didn't touch on it too much, but your stroke does finish pretty short. And that was really obvious when we did the doggy paddle drill and the Unco drill, that you kind of tendency is to come out short. So I would say skull drills, the doggy paddle drills. Really want you to work on bubble bubble stretch. I'll send you the link to the bubble bubble breathe drill and the bubble bubble straight drill, and then really looking at kind of swimming in that Y shape, so that we remove the crossover, so we remove the snaking, and then once you're entering wider, you're going to start pulling just to the outside of your hip, whereas currently you're right underneath the body, and we don't want that. We want you kind of all in a line with the shoulder to the outside of the hip. So hopefully that's helpful. Obviously any questions, please do let me know, get in touch, or if you want any more sessions, then I'm sure I can find a space somewhere. But good luck, happy training, and see you soon.